There are matches that leave more than just a result. There are matches that leave a feeling, an image, a phrase, and, above all, a confirmation. Argentina once again showed authority on a big night, and Lionel Messi once again became the center of everyone's attention. But this time, one of the strongest reactions did not come from inside the Argentine camp, or from a former national team player, or from a journalist close to the team. It came from Zlatan Ibrahimović. Ibrahimović, always direct, always with that very particular way of analyzing soccer, was asked after the match about what he had seen from Argentina, and especially about what Messi had done once again. And far from looking for a provocative phrase or a forced comparison, the Swede left a message full of respect for Lionel Scaloni's team and for the Argentine captain. For Zlatan, what Argentina did was no coincidence. It was not a victory built only on the inspiration of one individual. In his view, it was a demonstration of teamwork, character, hierarchy, and confidence. Ibrahimović emphasized that Argentina plays with a sense of security that is very difficult to find in a World Cup because it is not only about having big names, but about knowing how to compete in moments where pressure can change everything. Argentina knows how to play these matches, Ibrahimović reportedly said after the game. It does not need to dominate all the time to show that it is in control. It has patience, it has personality, and it has players who understand every moment of the match. That is what big teams do. The phrase sums up quite well what was seen on the field. Argentina never seemed desperate. Even when the opponent tried to close down spaces, cut off passing lanes, and force the Argentine team to play far from the box, the reigning world champion kept its composure. It moved the ball around, looked for the right moments, chose when to speed up, and when to slow the match down. That competitive maturity was one of the things that most caught Ibrahimovic's attention. For a player like Zlatan, who throughout his entire career understood the weight of playing under pressure, that detail does not go unnoticed. The Swede knows that in a World Cup, it is not enough to play well for 20 minutes. It is not enough to have talent. You have to know how to suffer. You have to know how to manage anxiety. You have to know how to strike when the opportunity appears. And Argentina, once again, showed that it has that craft. But inevitably, the name that ended up dominating the analysis was Lionel Messi's. Because once again, on a giant stage, Messi appeared. Once again, when the match needed clarity, he was the player capable of finding it. Once again, when the opposing defense seemed organized, he found a crack. And once again, when the world was waiting for a sign of greatness, Messi delivered it. Ibrahimović was very clear when speaking about him. He did not present him only as a brilliant player, but as a footballer who continues to do uncommon things at an age when most of the greats would already be far away from that level of influence. For Zlatan, the most impressive thing is not only that Messi is still playing, but that he is still deciding matches. The incredible thing about Messi is not that he is still on the field, Ibrahimović reportedly said. The incredible thing is that he still changes the match. There are players who age and only keep the name. Messi keeps the soccer. He keeps the difference. That phrase hit hard because it describes exactly what Messi represents at this stage of his career. He no longer needs to run like before. He no longer needs to touch the ball 100 times to dominate a match. His influence has become more selective, more surgical, quieter at times, but just as decisive. Messi can disappear for a few minutes and suddenly solve a play with a touch, a pass, a pause, or a finish. Ibrahimović, who shared a team with Messi at Barcelona and knows up close what it means to train and play alongside him, also reportedly emphasized that there are things about the Argentine that cannot be fully appreciated from the outside. According to the Swede, people usually focus on the goals, the assists, or the viral plays. But Messi's greatest quality lies in the natural way he understands the game. Messi does not play fast because he runs fast. Messi plays fast because he thinks before everyone else, Zlatan reportedly pointed out. When everyone else is watching the play, he has already seen the next one. That is the difference. And in a match against Argentina, that difference becomes even more noticeable, because the Argentine national team does not use Messi as an isolated piece, but as the emotional and footballing center of a system that supports him. The team does not depend on him desperately, but it does recognize him as its guide. It looks for him at the right moments. It protects him when necessary. It surrounds him with intensity, legs, pressure, and intelligence. That was also highlighted by Ibrahimović. For him, one of this Argentina's great virtues is that it managed to build a team around Messi without falling into the temptation of expecting him to do absolutely everything. There is a structure. There are players who run, press, win duels, occupy spaces, and sustain the team. And within that structure, Messi can choose when to appear. Argentina understood something that seems simple, but it is not, Zlatan reportedly said. It has the best player, but it does not hand him the whole problem. It hands him the moment, and when Messi receives the moment, he usually turns it into something special. Argentina's performance then was not celebrated only because of the result. It was celebrated because of the way the team once again behaved like a champion, with calm, with security, and with that feeling that it knows exactly what it is doing. Ibrahimovich emphasized that Argentina does not look like a team playing with the burden of defending a crown, but with the confidence of knowing it has already gone through every possible scenario. That is a huge difference. Many champions arrive at the next World Cup loaded with pressure, afraid of not living up to what they once were. Argentina, on the other hand, seems to use that past as fuel. It does not play like a team trapped by nostalgia for Qatar. It plays like a team that is still hungry. And that hunger, according to Ibrahimovic, is one of the reasons Argentina remains so dangerous. Because it has players who have already won everything, but who keep competing as if they still needed to prove something. It has young footballers who want to write their own history. And it has Messi, who after reaching the highest glory, continues to find reasons to move the world. In that context, Messi's record becomes even more impressive. Because with his new goals, the Argentine captain has already surpassed Miroslav Klose by 2 goals and became the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history. Klose had set a number that for years seemed unreachable, a figure reserved for box specialists, for pure strikers, for players who built their legend by living inside the opposing area. Messi, however, went even further from a different place. He is not a classic number 9. He is not a footballer who based his entire career on waiting for crosses or attacking the near post. Messi built his World Cup story as a creator, as an organizer, as an assister, as a leader, and also as a scorer. That is why the record has an even greater dimension. He did not just surpass Klose, he did it while being much more than a finisher. Ibrahimovic also reportedly referred to that detail. For him, the record cannot be measured only in numbers, because Messi is not a player who can be explained by statistics alone. The goals matter, of course. Surpassing the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history by 2 goals is a gigantic mark. But when talking about Messi, the numbers are only one part of the story. That Messi is the top scorer in World Cup history says a lot, Zlatan reportedly commented. But the strongest thing is that, in addition to scoring goals, he also makes everyone play. There are scorers, there are creators, there are leaders. Messi is all of that at the same time. That reading from Ibrahimovic connects with something the soccer world has been repeating for years. Messi does not compete only against other players, but against the very idea of what is possible. Every time it seems there is nothing new left to say about him, another night appears, another match, another record, another play. And then the debate starts all over again, even though for many there is not much left to discuss. Argentina, meanwhile, keeps moving forward. The team grows stronger with every victory and conveys a very clear feeling. It is not willing to give up the throne easily. The opponents know it. The coaches know it. The historic figures know it. And Ibrahimovic knows it too, as someone who does not usually hand out empty praise. When Zlatan gives praise, he does it because he truly saw something that caught his attention. And what he saw was a serious, competitive, solid, and emotionally strong Argentina. He saw a team that knows how to handle big matches. He saw a national team that does not need to make noise to command respect. He saw a group that understands that in a World Cup, details are everything. And above all, he saw Messi again. He saw that player again who has challenged logic so many times. That footballer who has already been a world champion, who has already broken records, who has already received every possible award, and who, even so, keeps playing as if he still had one final masterpiece left to complete. Messi does not seem to be simply taking part in another World Cup. He seems to be writing an epilogue that, instead of dimming his legend, makes it even bigger. That is why Ibrahimovic's words had such an impact, because they did not come from easy exaggeration, but from the recognition of someone who understands greatness. Zlatan knows what it means to carry pressure, knows what it means to be watched in every movement, knows what it means to live under constant expectation. And from that place, his praise for Messi carries special weight. In the end, Ibrahimovic left an idea that sums it all up. For him, Argentina once again showed that it is one of the strongest teams in the tournament, and Messi once again confirmed that his influence on soccer remains unique. Age does not matter, the opponent does not matter, the context does not matter. Every time a new test appears, Messi finds a way to respond. And for Ibrahimovic, that is the definitive difference. Messi has no comparison, and every match keeps proving it.